Hello, my guest today is Dennis Raloha Howell. He is the founder of Psychred and is the host of the DRH show. You know, when I ask people to give a bio, they give me pages. And I asked Dennis to give me a short bio, and he gets the award for the shortest bio ever. We will discover more about him on the show. So welcome to the show, Dennis. How lovely to meet you.
Thank you for
Finally.
having me here, Madeleine, on your Unbroken show, and hopefully I could, share more about me, more than just one-liner script I sent you.
Thank you. So because the show is called Unbroken, we always start with the same question. I ask my guest, what does that word unbroken mean to you?
I would equate unbroken with one psychological construct, and that is resilience. It means that in spite of the adverse life circumstances that we've experienced, we are unbroken because we manage to bounce back and flourish and thrive.
Yeah, that's my definition exactly, that we are resilient and none of us really are ever broken from ever. We can always repair. But life was tough for you to begin with, wasn't it? You were born in Manila, in the slums in the Philippines.
I would be hesitant to use the word tough. I would always look back with my childhood with a sense of gratitude, with a sense of that perhaps I'm quite lucky that I've actually grown up in the slum in the Philippines because it shaped me who I am.
Okay.
Um,
So people listening in would hear that sentence and they go, what? He's grateful to grow up
I,
in the slums?
Yeah, I am grateful. Just to kind of set the picture. So the place where I live is it doesn't have running water, it doesn't have electricity, and I did not even experience how it was to sleep on a bed or use a toilet until I was about 15, 16. So and of course there's a lot of violence around the area. It's kind of expected in that kind of environment, but it shaped me the way I see the world. Of course, the world is, you can see it from different perspectives, but I see the world, it's not a really a nicey place. It's not really, not everything goes smoothly. And that's how I see the world. And part of me also see the world as something that you have to be grateful for, because some people do not. My life has practically changed since I moved into this move here in Britain. But I always look back at my childhood with gratitude. That's how I look at it, rather than using the word tough. I'm quite grateful in the sense that my parents raised me the way I am, and I've spent my formative years in a slum. Like when you're growing up, you try to forge your own identity. And in the process of forging that identity, you inadvertently create this, I would just call it disconnect between you and your parents. But as you age, you begin to realize that your parents just want the best for you. And, in the process, that disconnect begins to narrow. And then you become, you understand what your parents are trying to do for you.
Eventually, tell my children, please. They'll
Yeah.
understand what we're trying to do for them. So was it your parents that encouraged you to study? Because you've thrown yourself into your studies, haven't you?
Yeah, definitely. My parents, they come from very modest backgrounds, so they did not go to university, and they did a very good job of raising three children. Without sounding arrogant, in spite of their backgrounds, my dad was originally a rice farmer, and then my mom was a seamstress. In spite of their background, he managed to instill to us the value of education. They said that if you really want to, claw your way out of this environment, education is the best tool. It's the best tool for social mobility. And so all of us have at least a master's degree. I'm currently doing my PhD now, and my sister is also doing her PhD.
You are the eternal student, really, aren't you?
I could always say, I would always preface my introduction with growing up in the slums of Manila. But I don't want to convey that kind of victimhood mentality to young people.
But it sounds like you want to give them hope.
I want to give them hope more than
Yeah.
anything else.
Yeah, and you don't like to be labeled, just because you came from there, that doesn't mean that's how my life is going to be. There's opportunity for everybody.
Yes, absolutely. I don't want to be, I don't want to be put in a box. No, nobody wants to be put in a box, regardless of what you've experienced in the past. You just want to be seen as an individual, that work hard, that benefited from support. That's how you want to be seen.
Absolutely. So Psychred was really, I believe, one of the first blogs about psychology, really, wasn't it?
I wouldn't say that it's the first blog in psychologist. I have to give credit to outstanding platforms like Psychology Today, Psych Central, and Very Well Mind. Those were my inspiration. But I think I won't be inaccurate when I say that Psychred is first of its kind, in a sense that we don't just create content, but we also have a podcast, and that we also have an academic journal, and that we also host conference. And as far as I know, you can't find platforms that, have different arms. For one, like even Psychology Today, they don't have the academic journal. So in a sense, we're kind of like one of a kind.
Mm-hmm. I get a real sense from you that you don't ever want to appear like you're showing off in any way or you're bragging, but you're so modest with all that you've achieved. And, why can't you just go, yes, I am the first and I've ticked all these boxes and no one else is doing it. But you hold that part of you back, I get this sense.
No, actually, a lot of people say that I'm quite overly confident. So perhaps I've mellowed down as I age, but yeah, I won't say that, I try to bring myself down, but I would describe myself as confident. And sometimes I'm almost verging towards the side of overly confident, but I'm very grateful that my husband tries to remind me the value of humility, because my husband and I were quite complete opposite. He doesn't want to be, he just wants to be on the background, and literally right now he's in my background.
He's your tech man now, is he?
Yeah.
We all need someone in the background, or someone to do our tech anyway, at least.
Yes.
But
he's actually the one editing my videos.
Oh, brilliant. Well, that's very handy, really handy. But you have won Blogger of the Year, and it is an award-winning site.
Yes. So I won Blogger of the Year at UK Mental Health Blog Awards, which is run by Mike Douglas. He's a really nice guy. And so it was through public voting, and yeah, I got mental health, Blogger of the Year on Mental Health Blog Awards. That was really one of the highlights of my blogging career. It's nice to be recognized for what you do, especially from, a community of like-minded individuals. Some people, if you're going to ask someone who's got a biological leaning, I was with this group of resilience researchers across Europe, and there were some researchers from Germany and Netherlands, and their orientation is that it has a biological basis. Of course we can't deny it. So some people say that there's a biological basis for resilience, and some people go on to say that resilience is actually a skill, and some people go on to say that resilience is actually a process. It's because you've undergone an adverse condition and you've benefited from support, and eventually that process enabled you to be resilient. So there are many different orientations, and I'm leaning towards the side of it's actually a skill. So if it's a skill, if you convey that message to young people, it's something that you can develop. It's something that you could, ultimately have with given the right support and given the right intervention.
Yeah, because the thing that led me into becoming a psychotherapist, my father was a Holocaust survivor, and he loved life. He was amazing. And his sister also survived. She had chronic schizophrenia, agoraphobia, and that always intrigued me. How did two people that had similar circumstances, obviously both experiences would be different, but under the same oppression, how did they come out so differently? How come one loved life and one hid from life? And that always intrigued me. So It is a skill, but I think it's an attitude, it's our
Mm,
mindset, it's what we choose at the end of the day. Like you said,
mm,
I could choose to be a victim. I could wear my victim badge very proudly, or I could wear my resilient, this is me badge as well. Do you think choice and mindset have a lot to do with it?
yes, we can't discount the personal attitude that a person have towards whether you would acquire resilience or not. It's also down to the fact that what kind of environment do you have? Is the environment that you have conducive to you fostering resilience? So I wouldn't say that I would have become resilient if not for my parents, if not for my teachers, because always my parents tell me that, that if you wanna, if you want to leave the slum, you have to go to university. If not for those advice, I won't have, I won't have that resilient attitude.